So, what if you could build a massive business empire, not on money, but on character? Today we're going to get into the story of the Tata Group. It's a company whose legacy isn't really measured in profits, but in something way more valuable: trust.
This quote right here, this is the heart of the whole story. Most businesses, they start with a product or a profit goal, but the Tata story, it starts with a totally different question. How can a business actually serve humanity? And that one idea, well, it would go on to shape every decision they made for over a century.
So, to really understand how this whole people-first philosophy started, we have to go back, way back, to the beginning, to a founder with a truly revolutionary dream for his country. Okay, to really get the scale of this vision, you gotta picture the scene. The year is 1868. India is under British rule, and its own industrial potential is pretty much just sitting there, untapped. But Jamsetji Tata saw this as more than a business opportunity. It was a patriotic mission. The goal? To build industries that would make India strong and self-sufficient.
Now, a vision that big can feel, a little overwhelming. But Jamsetji knew exactly where to start. He focused on the absolute essentials, the foundational pillars that could actually support a modern nation.
And these weren't just random ideas. They were super strategic. Think about it. Steel to build the country's infrastructure, literally its backbone. A world-class school to cultivate its minds and create generations of thinkers and leaders. And of course, power to fuel all that progress. Jamsetji knew that to build a country, you first had to build its core. And yeah, these dreams would later become giants like Tata Steel and the famous Indian Institute of Science.
But just building industries, that wasn't enough. The real revolution, the thing that set Tata apart, was in how he planned to build them. This is where the story takes a really interesting turn.
This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one hand, you have the standard playbook for the industrial age, a machine designed to make as much profit as possible. But the Tata way? It completely flipped that script. The belief was simple, really. If you build your business to serve your people and your community, success is going to follow.
And let me tell you, this was not just talk. We're talking about real actions that were decades, and I mean decades, ahead of their time. Things like an 8-hour workday, free medical aid for employees, retirement funds. These were put in place long before they were required by law in many Western countries. This wasn't charity. It was a core business principle. And it built this incredible bond of loyalty and trust.
So, with that foundation of trust, you can imagine what happened next. It became the launchpad for massive expansion. As the group got bigger and bigger, that core philosophy was like a North Star, guiding every single new venture.
I mean, just look at the diversity here. From cars to technology, hotels to power. Pretty soon, the Tata name started appearing in almost every part of the Indian economy. But no matter the industry, that promise of quality and doing business the right way was always there. Every new business was just another chance to strengthen that core value of trust. And that's exactly how they won over the nation. They weren't some distant, faceless corporation. They were a reliable presence in people's homes and in their lives. Whether it was the salt on the dinner table or the truck delivering goods, that T from Tata became a symbol you could count on. See, they didn't just sell products, they built relationships.
A legacy this powerful can only survive if it gets passed down through generations of leaders who don't just understand it, but who actually live and breathe it.
And that's exactly what happened. Leaders like Ratan Tata took the company global, acquiring huge brands like Jaguar Land Rover. But even as they became this massive international force, that core purpose of serving the community and sticking to their ethical standards, it never changed. The scale got bigger, sure, but the soul of the company stayed exactly the same.
When you look at a story that spans over 150 years, it kind of forces you to ask a really big question. What does success truly mean? Is it just the numbers on a spreadsheet, or is it something deeper?
And I think this is the answer the Tata story gives us. Growth is temporary, right? But impact? Impact is permanent. The real measure of success is the positive change you create, the lives you improve, and the legacy you leave behind.
And at the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. Trust isn't something you can buy in an ad campaign. It's earned. It's the natural result of decades of consistent, value-driven actions. It's what happens when you choose people over profit again and again and again until it becomes who you are.
And that's the perfect way to wrap this up. The next time you see the Tata name, remember the story behind it. It's a story that proves you can build a global empire not in spite of your values, but because of them. It's not just a logo. It's a promise that's been kept for over a century.